From 1990 to 2024, over 1,100 children have died in hot cars in the United States, and at least another 7,500 survived with varying degrees of injury according to data compiled by Kids and Car Safety. In 2024, 39 kids died in hot vehicles. Greetings, my name is Cecil Hunter, and I am the sole member owner of LICEC LLC, which is the owner of CVAPS. Today, I want to introduce you to my invention, CVAPS. This video will be an explanatory video focusing on all of the components that make CVAPS work, how they work together, how CVAPS protect kids and pets, and the components of a vehicle CVAPS will employ to turn a vehicle into a sentry to protect kids and pets. CVAPS stands for Child Vehicular Abandonment Prevention System. The concept for CVAPS came to me when I was living abroad, traveling in and out of the U.S. I began noticing kids being left in hot vehicles in a number of countries, not only in the U.S. So in about 2016, I began creating a concept of a system that would defunct such events from happening. By 2017, I filed for patenting. By 2021, I received the first of 3 patents on CVAPS. Throughout the course of researching, the search revealed systems that use temperature sensors as the source to provoke a system to alarm. Temperature is the cause of heat stroke death, so why would an invention that seeks to end heat stroke death flirt with temperature? Some of these inventions did not incorporate a driver exit alert and allowed a driver to leave the vehicle with the child left inside without policing the caretaker's time outside of the vehicle. Those that did offer an exit alert suggest that after a certain amount of time has elapsed and the temperature has reached a certain threshold, the vehicle alarm system will be triggered to alert of the situation. The research also revealed inventions that if a child has been left inside of the vehicle, not only will it alarm when temperature reaches a certain point, but by motion as well. Understand that a sleeping child may be motionless, so now these systems will wait for temperature to reach a set threshold. The search revealed inventions that have removable sensors, which eventually could be damaged or lost, and inventions that allowed the driver to turn the systems off. The search found inventions that didn't incorporate continual monitoring throughout driving range. The patent search found inventions that will turn on the AC, but suggest no way of determining if AC or heat is needed in an abandonment situation of a child. Of all the reference searches, when alarming if a child is left in a vehicle, none offered a verbal exterior voice module message alerting the public to the life-threatening situation inside of the vehicle. They all state the use of the vehicle alarm system, which is the horn blowing and vehicle lights flashing to alert the public of a child left inside the vehicle. Alarming vehicles don't spark people interest to look inside them, so there's a high probability that the child wouldn't be rescued if not seen. A number of cited patents suggest allowing a caregiver the ability to turn off the system, lull, or adjust its parameters by adding time to give themselves more time before alarming. Wherein CVAPS does not allow you to tamper with its settings or functions and only allow a child to be unsupervised for 4 minutes before it is triggered to protect a child or pet. None offered a refueling mode that continues the accountability of protecting a child from abandonment by policing a caregiver's excessive length of time outside of the vehicle with a child still seated inside alone. None offered a systematic way of superintending the loading and unloading time of children and pets. None had the capability to preserve the scene for investigation by locking the vehicle, creating a secure environment and comfortable interior atmosphere until a first responder arrives to unlock the vehicle and start an investigation. Now, let's look at how CVAPS is provoked to protect. CVAPS protects by threat of abandonment, not temperature. CVAPS only allows a child to be unsupervised for 4 minutes before it is triggered to protect and never allows temperature to become a threat. CVAPS will be an innate system, meaning it will be native and non-removable from the vehicle due to being built into the vehicle at production. The parts that comprise CVAPS is the ECM or ECU, which is called the electronic control module or electronic control unit, and a hardwire harness. The controlling module is the brains of CVAPS, and it will have access and control of a number of the vehicle functions and components, such as the sketch you see on your screen. I also created a child seat specifically for CVAPS, in which we will start with. The child seat has weight sensors built into its seating. This is how it detects the presence of a child. The seat has its own ECM ECU that communicates with CVAPS ECM ECU through wireless and hardwire harness connection. The seat will communicate information like seatbelt ajar, hardwire disconnected, and the weight sensors will detect the presence of the child. You would purchase the child seat and upload your child and your information by computer through USB or wireless. Information such as child date of birth, name, picture, and parent's name, email, and phone numbers. Uploading such information about your child will allow CVAPS to greet your child by name while displaying your child photo on the display screen once seated and wish them happy birthday on their birthdays. For the parents, this information is used to send you a text and email alerting you that your child has been put in an abandonment situation with the location of the event if the child is in someone else's custody. Once the seat enters the vehicle for the first time and connects wirelessly or by hard wire, all information you uploaded will sync to CVAPS ECM. If the seat is moved to any vehicle that has the CVAPS system that it has never been in, all uploaded information will sync to that vehicle's ECM as well. The hardwire harness bridges CVAPS ECM and child seat ECM via the rear redesigned seatbelt buckle that allows plug-in access for the child seat hardwire. The main purpose of the harness is to maintain a charge to the child seat. The harness is also capable of transmitting electronic messages, alerts, and alarms from CVAPS ECM and the child seat ECM. The hardwire harness will function as a backup to the wireless connectivity, as the wireless will function as a backup for the hardwire harness. Approaching the vehicle for first use, opening any door, the door jar sensors would signal CVAPS ECM to wake the child seat. If you don't see the child, once vehicle motion is detected by the transmission speed sensor, TSS, also known as the vehicle speed sensor, VSS, CVAPS will put the child seat back into sleep mode. If the child seat detects weight, you have 3 minutes to seat and secure the child. Child seat weight detection prompts 3 things simultaneously, which are the child seat signaling CVAPS ECM to the presence of weight, CVAPS greeting the child verbally over the vehicle speakers by name if logged, or the default greeting, child on board, if not logged, and starting the 3-minute seating time for you to sit in the driver's seat, triggering the weight sensor to let CVAPS know you are present, which will cease the 3-minute timer. The verbal speaker message will not cease until the door is closed. If additional kids will be seated, time restarts every time a child is placed in a second or third seat before the 3 minutes elapse from each seat. Each act of seating a child is given 3 minutes. So if you were seating 3 kids, you would have a total of 9 minutes, with the 3-minute time limit resetting each time a child seat detects weight. If loading pets, once a pet enters the vehicle, CVAPS Pet ISO microchip reader sensor would detect your pet microchip and greet the pet by name if logged, or by default message, pet on board if not logged. This is how CVAPS detect pets in vehicle. The child seat will alert CVAPS, which in turn CVAPS will prompt the vehicle display screen to display the child's picture and verbally announce the child's name through the vehicle speakers if the child's seatbelt becomes unbuckled at any time a child is seated. It will distinguish between kids if more than one child is in the vehicle by verbal name and picture displayed on the display screen. If no child is logged to their seat, CVAPS would announce the default message, seatbelt unbuckled. You, the driver, would have to figure out which child's seatbelt has become unbuckled. If you have a sick child, CVAPS will allow a child's temperature to be displayed live on the vehicle display screen by a thermometer smart bracelet through wireless display as long as the child is on board. CVAPS will also display the child's photo and name if logged. Once you arrive at your destination, CVAPS will not alert until door jar is detected. Ignition switch on or off. If there's an attempt to exit, the door jar sensor will signal CVAPS ECM, which will then provoke the verbal interior speaker message, child on board, if child info isn't logged, or Mary is on board if you have uploaded your child information. The verbal speaker message would repeat continuously through the vehicle speakers until the child is removed from the child's seat. The verbal messaging will not cease unless you close the door, remaining inside. If you exit the vehicle, removing weight from the driver's seat, the seat weight sensor will signal CVAPS ECM to start your 3 minutes to remove the child, while the interior speaker message will continue until the child is removed from the child's seat. Refueling mode will allow you to leave the child in the vehicle, exiting the vehicle without the speaker message reminding you that a child is in the vehicle. You would enact refueling mode by accessing CVAPS through the vehicle display screen. Once enacted, refueling mode suppresses the verbal speaker message when the door jar sensor is tripped. Once you exit, removing weight from the driver's seat, CVAPS will start your 3 minutes to begin refueling. CVAPS detects fuel flow by a liquid flow sensor built into the fuel filling neck of the vehicle, such as a sonic or tumbler flow sensor, as you see on your screen. Once flow is detected, the flow sensor will signal CVAPS ECM that you are present and refueling so that CVAPS could cease the 3-minute timer. Once fuel flow has stopped, the flow sensor will signal CVAPS to restart your 3 minutes to enter the vehicle. CVAPS is policing your presence and time outside of the vehicle. Secure mode is the total locking up of the vehicle to protect a child or pet. CVAPS is provoked into secure mode when 4 minutes have elapsed with the detection of a child or pet in the vehicle and no human present. CVAPS offers 3 minutes of police caregiver supervision. If the 3 minutes elapse without any human intervention, then CVAPS offers a 1-minute grace period. Once CVAPS enters the 1-minute grace period, it will provoke the vehicle alarm to alarm, headlights flashing, and intermediate horn blowing, warning the driver that the system is about to go into full secure mode. If no human intervention happens, CVAPS will go into full secure mode. CVAPS only allows a child to be unattended for 4 minutes, which is your allotted 3 minutes and a 1-minute grace period. CVAPS is not being triggered into secure mode by temperature, but by threat of abandonment. Once provoked into full secure mode, all of the following are triggered simultaneously as the vehicle alarm continues alarming. Headlights continue flashing. Intermediate horn blowing continues. The verbal voice module will now publicly sound a verbal message saying, child on board unattended repeatedly if a child is alone, or pet on board unattended repeatedly if a pet is alone. If a child and pet is left in the vehicle, the verbal message would be child on board unattended repeatedly. Vehicle engine starting. CVAPS interior temperature sensor has a determinant threshold that determines if the interior needs AC or heat and will turn on either according to the temperature reading. Doors locking and canceling owner's key fob signal. Windows rolling up if down. Text messages sent to logged loved ones alerting of the situation along with the GPS location. CVAPS will call 911 after 10 minutes of alarming given GPS location. Reason for the 10-minute delay is because the public will react first. Records and retains all secure mode events and allows authorities to retrieve events through CVAPS ECM. The child or pet will be secure and comfortable until authorities arrive. There will be no need for the public to gain access inside of the vehicle other than keeping an eye on the situation. Abridged secure mode is a shortened version of full secure mode in a situation where CVAPS is triggered into secure mode with a child in the vehicle unattended. Doors open and the 4 minutes has elapsed. Simultaneously, CVAPS will then immobilize the vehicle from starting. Contact 911 immediately. Trigger horn, headlights, alarm, and verbal voice module message. Child on board unattended. If the engine is running, CVAPS will shut the engine off. Vehicle seat weight sensor detection can possibly be circumvented by placing weighted items on the seat. For this cause, CVAPS will have passive infrared sensors capable of detecting the entire vehicle interior. Passive infrared sensors work entirely by detecting the energy given off by other objects. They don't detect or measure heat. Instead, they detect the infrared radiation emitted or reflected from an object. The sensors will work in conjunction with the ABS wheel sensor for motion detection, meaning if there's no vehicle motion and a child is seated in the child seat or a pet is detected and weight is present in a weight-censored seat, the passive infrared sensors would activate to make sure the weight is human, not pseudo. If no human present is detected, CVAPS would immediately alarm in secure mode, believing there is an attempt to circumvent the system and an abandonment situation. The master key fob is a key fob which can only release CVAPS out of secure mode. Law enforcement departments such as first responders or community service officers who would respond to a CVAPS 911 situation will be issued a CVAPS master key fob. The master key fob will release CVAPS from secure mode and unblock the owner's signal, returning the vehicle back to manufacturer's state. To view CVAPS patents, copy the patent numbers on your screen and go to Google Patents and type them in. Thank you for your time for watching this explanatory video about CVAPS. If you believe CVAPS could protect children and pets, please help me by giving what you can so LICEC can build a prototype to present to the public and NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. My name is Cecil Hunter, and I am representing LICEC LLC and CVAPS. Thank you very much.